people do some pretty crazy stuff to fundraise now, right? Like you look at, people walking across the country in gumboots and people, doing the coast to coast in gumboots. And there's all sorts of different things people put their bodies through to raise money for a good cause. And can I introduce you to somebody? His name is Paul, and he is going to be practicing now and this weekend. He's going to be practicing for something he's doing in April. I'm actually going to leave it to Paul to tell us what he's going to be doing to raise money for cancer charities in New Zealand. Good morning, Paul.
Morning, how's it going?
Yeah, good, thanks. You can talk right now, but later on your hands may be busy. What will you be doing this weekend and then again in April?
So in April, I'm going to try and break the world record, the Guinness World Record for a drum marathon. The current record stands at 134 hours and a random 5 minutes. So I'm going to go for 144 hours just to round it up to six full days.
So I'm originally a Brit, but I lived in New Zealand for 10 years in the 90s, went back to the UK again and came back over here in 2021 with the family. I'm a musician, I'm a writer, I'm a father, a husband, a brother, son. So I've been preparing for 5 or 6 months now. I mean, there's not as much physical training as probably a lot of people think. Because I'm playing an electronic kit which doesn't take a huge amount of effort to play. So it's not like an acoustic kit where you really have to hit it. I've been doing some physical stuff, so just press ups and that sort of stuff, but a lot of it has been just getting on the drum kit and playing for as long as I can every day.
Under half an hour now before you start the rehearsal?
Yep.
How long's the rehearsal today?
So it's 24 hours with breaks. So I'm allowed 5 minutes break every hour. The plan is that I'll start at midday and I'll play right the way through to 6, and then I've got a half hour. And whether I take that whole half hour or not, I haven't decided. But I can roll that over. So if I only take quarter of an hour, then I've still got quarter of an hour in my back pocket to play with later if I need to.
Yeah,
Live.
Yeah, live.
Great. Let's go. Thank you, everybody. Right, let's get the playlist going. Cool, it's going.
Little bird sitting on my windowsill with her head on my pillow, so pretty and still. Someday the way I realize I'm wrong, never awakened dreams, never shaking in the night.
My wife was diagnosed with breast cancer last year, and for a short time we thought the worst. Thankfully that didn't come to pass. She had a massive operation, 13 hours in the operating theatre, and we think it's come out the other side looking pretty good. So we're in a good place now. But that event got me thinking about how often cancer had touched me and my family and my loved ones and friends over the years. Well, that's my dad. So he died in 2021, prostate cancer, as you say. And then shortly after that, my uncle as well. So it's been around a bit. And even now I've got other friends and neighbours actually who are still struggling. I've got a friend in France who's been through it for years, and a friend in Denmark who lost both his mother and father to cancer, and now is facing his own battle. So, I think if anybody starts to think about it, the disease is kind of all over the place. And so being a bloke, as soon as we got the diagnosis about my wife, I had to do something practical, and so the idea was that I would try and break this world record and raise as much money as I possibly could for cancer charities here in New Zealand. being a rock star that they don't tell you about.
Yeah, this is all the logistics in the background there.
Right, onward.
Yep.
Not everyone should be able to start drumming here. It's almost a perfect spot because there's a bit of a breeze. There are holes in there and gaps, so there's a bit of a breeze, but it's covered and it's sheltered, and you know. So the start of the challenge itself, it was pretty good. You know, it was a combination of 9 months of work and preparing.
$13,000 chair. Oh my god! I think it looks comfy now.
They just told me it's $30,000. Now you want me to sign a piece of paper? No, that's
So the shoulder position is all set.
And what time do you kick off tonight?
6 o'clock. 6 o'clock start, right on the dot. Yeah, I want to try and hit it right on the 6 o'clock, so that's, you know, so the countdown at the end is down to 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. the other end sort of thing. So there's no doubt about what time I'm finishing.
And have you done anything like this personally? Like, have you set up technically anything like this before?
Well, in one respect, it's much the same as setting up for any other gig. It's just the fact you have to consider the time that it's all got to be functioning for. So, from the setup point of view, yes, but from the sort of issue of it lasting for 6 days, no. Get comfy, because where I'm going to be for some time to come. Can you get this mic on?
Yeah, it's on.
Oh, no.
There's not going to be any speeches, by the way. I'm just going to start in a minute.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Getting going, hitting that first song, and I specifically chose Heroes by David Bowie as the first song that I played because I think, yeah, the word heroes speaks to the people who look after cancer patients, but a lot of those patients themselves, that they just get on with life, even though they've got this horrible disease, and some of them are under a death sentence, and many of them do it with a smile. So to me, those are the heroes of this whole piece.
I am very worried at the tempo of the songs that Paul has chosen, because there hasn't been a slow drum beat song so far, and he's only a couple of hours in and he's got to last 6 days. So I'm really hoping that there's some slow songs coming, because after the 24-hour shift his muscles in his right arm were really, really sore just after 24 hours.
Yeah.
But the problem is he loves rock music, that's his genre, so
Yeah.
that's the song he picks.
Literally recording when he starts, when he stops, how many minutes he gets to have a break for. Every hour he plays, he is allowed a 5-minute break, or if he plays for 4 hours, you can add all those 5 minutes together, he can have a 20-minute break. So there's 2 volunteers on at all times, recording, witnessing what happens. They all go to Guinness, obviously, to check the times. They've got the live feed. They'll have witness reports. Just making sure that we're doing it right. In between songs, he's allowed 30 seconds of not playing. So if he goes over those 30 seconds, then that actually takes away his break time that he's accrued over the hours that he's played. So yeah, we try and keep him under the 30 seconds in between songs.
Feeling good? Feeling good?
So day two, it felt pretty good because the 24-hour period was the bit that there was the unknown. I'd done the 24-hour test one, so getting to 24 hours and then passing that was a massive thing because I didn't know how I was going to feel. So, getting 24 hours, 30 hours, 36 hours, it felt pretty good, and I felt confident and I felt well. The team was great. And so it felt we can go all the way with this.
And what do you think will get Paul through the end with this?
Sheer determination. He's got everything in place to be able to break this record, so I hope he does.
Holding up?
Holding up.
Yeah.
It's only been 50 hours. 50 and a half hours and 57 seconds.
Well done.
Who's counting?
Well done, that's already a huge achievement. Beyond 2 days already. That's amazing. Legend.
I'm going, I'm playing. Yeah. Got to keep playing all the time. Finding coordination is starting to slip a bit.
Oh, okay.
I've noticed
as your brain,
yeah. And I keep getting these out-of-body experiences.
Oh, okay.
I'm really tired. It just feels like you're floating in the room or something. And that
Interesting.
And short-term memory is very hard. I'll find myself halfway through a song and I can't remember starting playing it.
Oh, really?
When you just drift off and you don't know what's going.
It's sort of on autopilot a little bit.
Yeah.
This is kind of really pushing the boundaries now, getting into the third day of doing this. It's really a testament of the human spirit.
We're up to day 3 now of 6. How are you feeling?
Surprisingly good, actually. Yesterday, if you'd asked me that, I would have said I'm a mess, and I thought I'm not going to make it to day 4, never mind 6. But I caught up in the sleep a little bit. So this morning I'm feeling great.
Lady with a guitar said there was a bald gentleman cheering you on.
How is it?
Your hallucination.
Oh yes, him. Oh yes. He seems to have gone now, actually. There was a guy sitting over here.
Oh wow.
And there was a Mexican guy sitting on the floor here.
Oh my god.
It was freaky.
That would have been freaky, yeah.
I could only see him out of the corner of my eye, but he was definitely there.
Yeah.
But not when I looked, but yeah. And he was there for a good hour or so.
Really?
And at one point, he managed to acquire himself a cup of tea.
Wow.
The previous night, so sort of day 2.5, I guess, I'd had the bombshell that I didn't have the time in the bank that I wanted. So day 3 was really the day that things turned. I'd made the decision to go on, even though I wasn't sure whether or not yet that I would, succeed. Thinking back now, I can't even remember a lot of it. It sort of just disappeared into the mists of time. Around sort of 75 hours, things started going drastically wrong, to say the least. My brain was basically saying, okay, this is time to shut down now. And everything got very hazy after that. I started hallucinating more. I started to think that things were going wrong that weren't. The camera that was set up that was just to my right, which was the main live stream camera, that started to freak me out for some unknown reason. It just felt like a being sitting there staring at me. And this is my brain going, nuts. It was kind of just obviously starved of oxygen or whatever. And the whole thing started to unravel fairly quickly, I think. Near the end, the hallucinations got far, far worse. And at one point, there were people standing all around me. Like everywhere I looked, there were people, and they were just standing and they were staring down at me. My sight started to do this, and it reduced to a pinprick of light, and after that, it was gone. And that's when I basically collapsed in my body and just given up. We're kind of 3 weeks on now, and I'm basically recovered. There's a little bit of problem with a couple of blisters on my fingers, but apart from that, I'm pretty much recovered. Immediately afterwards, I was disappointed that I hadn't broken through. I'm still disappointed I didn't, get near the record. But the whole point of the whole thing was to talk about cancer and the people who get cancer who don't have the luxury of within 3 weeks having recovered. Those people. As you see, the guys on the screen behind me here, my father, my uncle, my girlfriend, and most recently, Per Gilskell, who died just a week ago, who's been battling the disease for some time. They don't have that luxury of recovering. Yes, we raised over $11,000 now, I think, which is wonderful, and that I hope that does some good. But actually, it's the awareness and getting the message out there that government needs to do more, the health system needs to do more, but actually responsibility is with individuals as well to make sure that you're listening to your body and you go to the doctor and you get tested and get checked. If one person is watching this and goes to the doctor today and gets tested, and survives something that could potentially have killed them, job done.
Would you do it all again?
When I finished, I sort of made a promise to myself that I wouldn't even think about it, for 3 months, 6 months, or whatever. It would just kind of go past. But yeah, of course, there's a part of me that says I could actually do this, so why wouldn't I have another go? But we'll see. Whether I will or not is one question. Whether I would, yes, I would. The longest beat, I don't think is finished. Farvel Per, din kamp forbi. Kan du sove godt, mine venner.